Here, guys, is you get your table function on your calculator and you get all the points for both graphs. So you have 12 minus x squared, starts at minus 2, ends at 3, step of 1, and you write out all these points that are on your list. Likewise for the second graph, which is 2 to the power 2x. You write out these ones as well. Start at 2, end at 3, step of 1, and you get other points, 3, 16, 2, 8, 1, 4, 0, 2. You draw these graphs out as shown on the graph underneath. So everybody should have this graph roughly drawn out fairly quickly, okay? Now, we're going to move on to actually answering the questions, okay? So, write down the coordinates of the points of intersection using your graph. So where's the first point of intersection, does anybody see? It's probably here, isn't it? I think that's the only one I see. So what point is it? Did everybody get 2, 8? Okay. 2, 8 is the point of intersection. Happy days. 2, 8. Find the range of values for which x is bigger than or equal to 0. So what does that mean? You're only allowed to take which region into consideration? Am I allowed to take this side of the board into consideration? Can anybody tell me why? Huh? Why am I only allowed to take the right hand side and not the left hand side? X has to be bigger than 0. The left hand side x is smaller than 0. Everybody got that? So it means I only have to focus on the yellow area. I don't have to focus on anything else. Continue. All right, what we're looking for is, where is f of x? Which one's f of x, guys? F of x is the curve that goes like an N, and g of x is the other curve that goes upwards. What we're looking for is, when is the N shape bigger than the other curve? Start at the bottom and work your way upwards. Which one do you hit first? When you start at the bottom and work your way up, which one do you hit first? G of x or f of x? You hit g of x first. That's what we're looking for, isn't it? G of x to be smaller than f of x. When does that stop? Stops at x equals 2. So in between 0 and less than or equal to 2, the g of x line is smaller than the f of x line, because you hit it first when you start from the bottom. Is that all right? How would you present this answer? 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2. Done. Find the value for x for which this number equals 6.7. I think that's g of x, is it? Where g of x equals 6.7. Find the input that makes the output 6.7. So I think it already has it done for me. You go to 6.7 on the axis. Do you see it there? Just below, 3 blocks below 7. You go across, you go down, and you roughly get an answer of 1.8. Is that okay? So roughly an answer of 1.8. Everybody see it? 6.7 across and down, roughly an answer of 1.8. All right, any questions? Find the coordinates of the 2 points where the curves f of x and g of x intersect. Coordinates means x value and y value. Does everybody agree with that? X value and y value. Now, here's how you do this. You just say f of x equals g of x. Cool with that? What you do now? 2x squared minus 1x plus 1 equals x squared plus x plus 4. And then after that, guys, bring it all over to one side. 2x squared, take away x squared. Then bring that over to get minus 1x. So that's, then bring the 4 over and it becomes minus 3. Two numbers that multiply to give me minus 3 but add to give me minus 2. Minus 3 and your two answers therefore are x equals 3 and x equals minus 1. However, we have to find the y value. Which equation do you have to use to find the y value? Which one? So who said that? He says it doesn't matter which one you use. Can anybody tell me why Killian knows it doesn't matter which one you use? Yes. The points are on both lines. So no matter which equation you're going to choose, it's going to give you the same answer because both points are on both lines. I'm just going to choose g of x because it looks easier. No other reason. Exactly. Now, putting somebody to sleep there, lads. Hope you're not falling asleep at home. So what do we put in here? 3. Will somebody do that out for me? 3 squared plus 3 plus 4. And the other person do minus 1 plus minus 1 plus 4. Okay, what you get for G3? 16. And the other one? What you get for the other one? 4. So would everybody agree with the answer is it's minus 1, 4 is this point here. And the other point is 3, 16. Yes? Yeah, the two table functions, yeah. That's how you do it with a calculator. How would you show your calculations though? So you can use your calculator to check your answer, but you should still do the workings. Is that right? So what he's saying there is the calculator did it for him, but in the exam you need to show your workings anyway. Use the calculator to check your answers, but show the workings. Is that right? Now, what does f of x bigger than or equal to g of x mean? When is the y value of f bigger than the y value of g? Does that make sense? So here's what we're going to do. Who's bigger now? When I go straight up. F is bigger than g. Here? Here. Equal. Who's bigger now? G. So we're not interested in that region, are we? Who's bigger? Who's bigger here? G is still bigger, isn't it? And then finally, who's bigger roughly there? They're equal again. So what are we not interested in? We're not interested in that middle region, are we? So what two regions are we interested in? We're sort of interested in this part here and this part here. So what are those two parts? No, not the y values. We're talking about x values here. Read the question. Any x value smaller than minus 1. Anything to the left. See the way it goes left? And anything to the right of 3. So what's anything to the right of 3? X greater than or equal to 3. Everybody cool with that? That's where the f line is higher than the g line. Does that make sense? All right. Now, 16. A group of 4 students is studying the graphs of functions in the form x squared plus 2x plus k, where x at Amador. Maria took k equal to minus 8. Do you see the way it's down here? See the minus 8 down there where it hits the y-axis? Once we replace x with 0, what would happen? 0 squared, 2 times 0. The answer would be minus 8. So that's why you have to point 0, minus 8. Right? Not that we need to worry about that. Now, what do roots mean? Roots is where it crosses the x-axis. So what are the two roots? X equals minus 4 and x equals? Oddly enough, it's the same answer as if you solve the equation. What happens if you solve the equation? X plus 4, x minus 2 equals 0, x equals 2, x equals minus 4. Everybody see it's the same thing? You can get it by the graph, or you can get it by solving the quadratic. So far, so good. Okay. Keith's graph passes through the point 3, 2. I can tell you right now, our graph does not pass through 3, 2. What does our graph pass through? What? 3, 7. Okay? So it passes through 3, 7. But his graph passes through 3, 2. So, illustrate what's going on, I'm going to use a GeoGebra package, okay? And what we're going to put in here is y equals x squared. Is it plus 2x, is it? Or minus 2x? Plus 2x. There's x squared. Oh, there. There is x squared plus 2x. Everybody see it? That right there is x squared plus 2x. See the way it crosses at 0, 0? What happens if I add on 4? What happens? What will happen? It will now cross at 0, 4. Look at this. See if I cross at 0, 4 now? Stays the same shape. Now what happens if I do it minus 8, like it does in the question? What happens when I put a minus 8 in? It'll go through minus 8, so it drops significantly. Would you see that? Everybody cool with that? Now, it wants us to go through 3, 2, doesn't it? But this one goes through 3. If I drop another 5, how would I drop another 5? Instead of dropping 8, drop 13, exactly. Drop down another 5. Because we go through 3, 7, but it wants us to go through 3, 2. So try 13. See what happens. Do we go through 3, 2? Yes, we do. And it drops it all the way down to 0 minus. Is that all right? So, we know that the k value is minus 13 because we have to drop another. We have to drop another 5. Is that all right? Now, there is another way of doing this. I'll show you now. What's the y value? The y value is 2 when the x value is 3. Would you agree with that? What can you replace f of x with? F of x is y. So y equals x squared plus 2x plus k. The y value is 2 and the x value is 3. And guess what that is? That's 15 plus k equals 2. What does that mean about k? What you said earlier. All right. So we can do this 2 different ways. Is that okay? Boom. On Alice's graph, the 2 roots of the function are the same. Now that's interesting, are the same. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'll show you on my graph here. I'm going to keep pulling this up. When the roots on the graph are the same, let me explain this. This is 2 different roots. Everybody agree with that? The crosses and 2 different parts. Everybody agree with that? The next graph I'm going to show you is no roots. Why is this no roots? Doesn't touch. This one is equal. Why is it equal? Just touches once. Our job is to make our graph touch once. Let's experiment. What happens if we do, we're back on minus 8. I'd like it to go up another 8, would you? Just to check out what it's like. So I'm going to put it to 0. Damn, it still crosses twice. What about one more? What about plus 1? Only touches once. No, it touches the x-axis once. It's how many times it touches the x-axis. Is that all right? So it's going to be x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now, how you'd know that, you know that you got a higher, see your minimum? Your minimum has to go all the way up to the x-axis, so that the minimum is touching the x-axis. That means you had a minus 8, but you're just after moving it up 9. And what's minus 8 plus 9? Plus 1. And that's why you have x squared plus 2x plus 1. Make a sketch of Alice's function on the diagram. Oh, right, stress. All right. Just like this, really, isn't it? It says sketch, so does that have to be a work of art? Oh, something like that, isn't it? But better, yeah. Emma's graph shows that the roots of her function are x minus 5 and x and 3. Find the value of k she used. Do you think it'll be higher or lower? Let's find out. I'm going to go back to my original function with the minus 8. What's the difference? What did you say? Minus 5 and? Minus 5 and 3, is it? Okay. What happens if I mess around with this? What happens if I go higher? Does it get narrower or bigger? See the gap in between here and here? See the gap? Let's see if it gets narrower or bigger when I go to minus 4. Went smaller. So I need to go further down. Let's keep going for a second. Minus 10. Not big enough. Minus 15. Perfect. Now, how would we do that without the software I'm using? So here's what you do. You start off and you go in reverse. What's the function answer? X equals minus 5 and x equals? Go in reverse. What's the step before that? X plus 5 equals 0 and? What's the step before that? Yeah. Minus 3x plus 5x, take away 15, multiply. And your answer is x squared plus 2x minus 15. That implies a k value of minus 15. Is that right? So it showed you it graphically, and now it shows you algebraically. Okay? Is that us?